Captain Marcus Chen had survived 3 different alien invasions, 2 diplomatic disasters, and 1 particularly awkward incident involving fermented Centauri fruit. But nothing had prepared him for this moment. He stared across the crystalline negotiation table at Queen Zixthara of the Vailnari Empire, her 6 arms frozen mid-gesture, her luminescent amber eyes fixed on him with an intensity that made the air itself seem to hum with electricity. "I accept," she repeated, her melodic voice carrying harmonics that human ears couldn't fully process. Marcus felt his diplomatic training abandon him entirely. The joke had slipped out during what was supposed to be a tense border dispute. Resolution. Something about her meticulous attention to detail and the way she'd organized her battle fleet formations with almost domestic precision. He'd muttered under his breath that she'd make someone a cute wife someday, thinking the translator wouldn't pick up his quiet comment. He was wrong. The silence in the grand chamber stretched like a taut wire. Ambassador Williams, representing the Terran coalition, looked like he was about to faint. The Vailnari delegation, elegant beings that resembled a cross between praying mantises and Art Nouveau sculptures, had gone completely still, their bioluminescent patterns shifting to colors Marcus had never seen before. "Your Majesty," Marcus began carefully, "I think there might be a translation error." "There is no error," Queen Zixthara interrupted, rising from her throne-like chair. At her full height she towered nearly 8 feet, her iridescent exoskeleton catching the light from the chamber's energy sources. "You have offered a marriage proposal. I have accepted. By the ancient laws of my people, we are now betrothed." Ambassador Williams found his voice. "Your Majesty, surely you understand that Captain Chen was speaking colloquially." "Ambassador," the Queen's tone could have frozen stellar plasma, "are you suggesting that a human's word holds no weight? That your species makes promises they do not intend to keep?" It was a masterful diplomatic trap, and Marcus recognized it immediately. The Vailnari were known for their absolute adherence to verbal contracts and agreements. To suggest that his offhand comment wasn't binding would be to insult their entire culture and potentially restart the very conflict they'd come here to end. But there was something else in the Queen's expression, something that looked almost hopeful. Marcus took a deep breath and stepped forward. If there was one thing humans were known for throughout the galaxy, it was their ability to adapt to impossible situations. "Your Majesty," he said, offering what he hoped was a respectful bow, "if I may ask, why did you accept?" The question seemed to surprise her. The bioluminescent patterns on her arms shifted to a softer blue-green. "In 300 cycles of my reign, no being has ever looked upon me and seen anything other than a weapon of war or a political obstacle. You saw someone who could create a home, build something beautiful instead of merely commanding destruction. Do you know how refreshing that is?" Marcus felt something shift in his understanding. Here was a queen who had spent centuries being defined by her military prowess and political power, and a throwaway human comment had suggested she could be valued for entirely different qualities. "I've studied your species," she continued. "Humanity's capacity for loyalty, for building families from nothing, for seeing potential where others see only problems. These are not common traits among the stars." "Well," Marcus said, surprising himself with his next words, "when you put it like that, I suppose I could do worse than marrying the most powerful queen in 3 star systems." The Queen's pattern shifted again, this time to what Marcus was learning might be amusement. "You are not afraid of me?" "Should I be?" Marcus grinned. "I mean, you could probably crush me with one hand, but you've also just complimented my entire species' family values. I'm thinking this might work out better than expected." Ambassador Williams was making small, strangled noises, but Marcus ignored him. Sometimes diplomacy required thinking outside conventional parameters. "There would be conditions," Queen Zixthara said, though her tone had become almost playful. "You would need to learn our customs, understand our military structure, help bridge our 2 species. And you'd need to learn about human customs too," Marcus countered. Movie nights, terrible cooking experiments, the fine art of arguing about whose turn it is to take out the trash. Trash? She asked, tilting her head in a gesture that was surprisingly endearing. Oh, you have so much to learn, Marcus laughed. 3 months later, the marriage of Captain Marcus Chen and Queen Zixthera became the foundation of the most successful human-alien alliance in recorded history. The Queen learned to appreciate pizza and terrible human comedy films. Marcus learned 17 different ways to command a battle fleet and discovered that his wife's laugh, when she finally learned how, sounded like wind chimes in a stellar breeze. Their first diplomatic success came when Marcus convinced the Queen to reorganize the Velnari military hierarchy based on human family structures, creating unprecedented loyalty and cooperation. Their second came when the Queen taught Marcus to negotiate using Velnari emotional harmonics, making him the most effective human diplomat in the galaxy. But their greatest success was simply proving that sometimes the most important diplomatic breakthrough happens when someone sees beyond titles and species to recognize the person underneath. As Marcus often told their story in later years, I may have joked about her being a cute wife, but I was right about one thing: she makes an amazing partner. The Queen, when asked for her perspective, would simply smile and say, "Humans see possibilities where others see only problems. It is why they will always surprise the galaxy."